And we've been joined by Chrisgtopher Bell, driver of number 4 Sirius XM Toyota, John Hunter Nemechek, driver of the number 8 Nemco Motorsports Chevrolet, and Ben Rhodes, driver of the number 27 Safelite Auto Glass Toyota. And gentlemen, I know all of you tested here at Charlotte earlier in the month. Just talk a little bit about that test and how that kind of helped prepare you guys going into this weekend and how you expect the track to be and kind of how you'll approach tomorrow night's race.
Well, we all know Chrisgtopher Bell was fast here in the test, so we're going to be chasing him all weekend. But it was a good test, definitely, for our Nemco Motorsports team. We were able to try a lot. Now, if you're not a rookie, you can't test anywhere. So being a single-car team like we are, you don't have the option to try very much with younger drivers compared to like a KBM where you have 4 different drivers. So I definitely feel like it was a good test for us. We needed to be a little bit better from where we ended the day, but overall I feel like it was a great learning experience for our team.
Ben, any comments on the test?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. Let me, I think John Hunter's stepping on my mic here. I'll just scoot over. Yeah, I felt like the test session went really well for us. Our 27 Safelite Tundra was a lot faster at the end of the practice session than when we started. I honestly think that a lot of our speed last weekend at Kansas Speedway came from the test session. Last year I was a rookie, but I still didn't get to use any of my testing sessions. We had a lot of adversity we had to overcome at Thorsport last year. So now that we have time and I'm not a rookie, this is something that I really looked forward to, and we had so much stuff that we tried and worked on with Toyota, with our teammates, everybody, just coming into the practice session, and I think all that hard work finally paid off.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation, and we'll get a mic to you. Any questions? All right, we'll start with Chris.
Chris Nykic. Oh, geez, that's loud. Ben, I was just wondering if Kyle called you. Did you talk to Kyle Busch after what you said about him last weekend at Kansas?
Okay, I was waiting for the rest of the sentence there.
What'd you say?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I texted him. I was like, "Hey, Kyle, Ben Rhodes here, my idol." I said, you pulled, he was fast all night, obviously, as Kyle Busch. That's what Kyle Busch does. And I asked him, I said, I want to learn. I feel like you were doing a lot of things out there that was new to me. Some of the stuff he was doing with side drafting and his restarts was all new to me. As you guys know, when you run in the back and then you come to the front, it's considerably different. So I was just asking him questions about the restarts and side drafting and different ways to kind of work traffic to be a little more efficient and not get myself in trouble like I did last year. What about you over there, Chrisgtopher Bell? Do you ask Kyle Busch any questions?
Is that considered a question?
It is. It's coming from me.
We get to use them a little bit more than you do.
Ben, I guess you said that you looked during your interview after the engine problem last week. You said that you spent the night racing against Kyle Busch, and that you looked up to him, and you spent your whole life racing to get where you did last weekend, racing side by side with him for the win. And he said in his post-race victory lane, post-race media press conference that after what you said, he thought he might have to pick up the phone and call you and talk to you about how you move forward from something like that. So I was just curious if he did that, or did you hear from him at all or anything?
Yeah, definitely heard from him, and I feel like I've moved forward. You have to be focused forward after something like that happens. As these guys know, everybody in their career coming up will lose more than they win. So that's just another notch in the notebook. But it stings because it was going to be our first win, but that's fine. We've had a couple of those races last year where we were in good positions, but nothing ever happened. So moving forward, I think the sting's away, but we're just positive. My crew chief Eddie's actually having a lot of fun with it. He took the bolt that went through our grill into our radiator and eventually expired the motor. He took that and put it on a gold chain, and he's saying it's our good luck charm for this weekend. So we're having a lot of fun with it and just rebounding from last weekend's performance.
All right. Additional questions? Okay. We could get a mic there in the back, please.
Chase, well, Yeah, you're right, Chris. It's pretty loud. Chase Wellen, FoxSports.com. This one's for John Hunter. John, I follow you on Strava. You've been doing a lot of cycling. You're a machine over there. Kind of talk about that a little bit, and if you're ready for doing a little cycling with like Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, we were going to do the assault on Mount Mitchell Monday with those guys, but I ended up having to go to Vegas, which kind of stunk. But I heard it was definitely a lot of pain going up the mountain, so I'm kind of glad I didn't do that one. But cycling, it's been a huge part of our workout program here recently, just endurance-wise and trying to get more fit. I mean, you see guys like Jimmy Johnson, Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth, all out there cycling all the time between practices, and they're definitely at their top of their game. But then on the other hand, you see Kyle Busch that doesn't work out very much, and he still wins a bunch of races. So it's definitely cool to be able to get out there and cycle and get your mind off things. It's a lot of fun, and I got to thank Scott Sports for coming on board with us for sure. They've been a huge help in getting me into cycling, and hopefully we can do some rides with Junior and Jimmy and all those guys here coming up.
All right. Additional questions? Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Ben, I saw that you were outdoor speedway this week. Were you testing or were you there watching?
Man, where are you getting your sources at here, Chris? No, I was just watching. There were some people that were testing there, and I saw the opportunity to go there and learn. Obviously, dirt is my weak spot, having never done it except in a go-kart. And there you try to stay as straight as possible. So definitely want to get out to a dirt track as often as I can just to try to learn. I'm not saying I'm a very good dirt driver, but I like to go there and watch from the best. And I think that there's some things that you can pick up on outside the truck that you can apply later on if you're really attentive, and you go down to the corners, you talk to people, you kind of go around and like a journalist and interview everybody and just try to figure out what's the best stuff that everybody does and try to combine that and figure out what I should be doing to be up front.
All right, and I'll let one of you guys answer this one. You guys can fight over which one answers it. But obviously you have Charlotte this weekend, take a break next week, and then you have Dover, Texas, Gateway, and Iowa. Just talk a little bit about this part of the season and how much that momentum of having back-to-back races can help you guys, especially as we get closer to the playoffs.
Well, so the first part of the season is extremely tough for us just because we go 3 races within 2 months, I think, so or longer than that. But it's just extremely tough to have all the time off. But so now we finally get to get our season going again and get some races back to back. So yeah, it sucks the beginning part of the year, but on the other hand, it's probably good for the teams to be able to go to the racetrack, and Daytona's typically not a place that's very easy on equipment. So they're able to, and Martinsville either at that matter. So they're able to kind of take a break, regroup, and get going again for the main part of our year.
All right. Thank you guys for coming in today, and we wish you best of luck this weekend.